Good morning, good morning. We are finally here. Today is the day of technology glitches. So my computer wouldn't load up the Zoom except on a limited basis. So you get to see my office. Yay! This is where I teach classes. Okay, so anyway, we have an interesting day ahead, I have no doubt. Welcome, Ajika, all the way from Afghanistan.
Yay.
International person. All right, good job. She made it. She made it safely. That's what we want to know. Okay, great. Yeah. Okay, Mike, go ahead and get us started, please.
Yes. Can you hear me? Am I unmuted? Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. I want to thank you for joining us in the spirit of perfect harmony. We are the Center for Spiritual Living, West Georgia. We study and practice the philosophy and science of the mind we know as God. And with our spiritual presence and participation in our service this morning, we create a higher state of consciousness, rise above any negative energy that may have prevailed this past week, and manifest love. We know love is synonymous to God. Our master teacher, Reverend Dr. Sandra Jackson, technician and everything else this morning, will now proceed with our service.
Unmute.
Thank you, Chris. All right, let's close our eyes. Let's turn within. And let's start over. Right here, right now, right where we are, God is. That we are in this sacred space. That where we are is holy ground. And that we are the blessing. We are the blessed. And so we open our hearts and minds this day to be fully and completely, absolutely aware of the truth of who we are, to align with it in a perfect way, that regardless of whatever the world appearances may be, that the truth, we are always, always, always in the truth, that God is and we are, and there is only one. And so we gratefully, joyfully open our hearts and minds this day to be fully and completely in the realization of this truth, to understand it at the very deepest levels of our understanding, of our beingness, of our consciousness. And it allows it by our knowingness from the deepest place within ourselves. It expresses itself in our world as our life. And so we rejoice this day in this opportunity to come together to know this truth, to celebrate it, to remember it, and to take steps in living it each and every day. And so it is. Amen. Okay, so we have some help this morning from Marcia. So Marcia, you want to tell us?
Oh, sure. We have a couple of trainees happening this morning. We have got Miss Dorothea, who is manning the waiting room. So when people log in, she's gonna go ahead and let people into the church, so to speak. And Miss Lily also is observing and watching what's going on, from the back end. So thank you all, ladies. And we have a couple of other folks that are interested in also helping out on the technology side. So I am just looking forward to growing this digital community, so to speak. So thank you all for being trainees. I promise not to haze you too much. No, stop.
Thank you all for stepping up. We put out the call and
yes, we've got people stepping up. So and it is not hard. It's just something different. So good deal. All right. Well, I guess Reverend Sandra, it's time for the mission and the vision statement.
Yes, it is.
Okay, let's go. So it is my pleasure to lead you all in speaking on the mission and the vision and the mission statement. CSL West Georgia is a joyful global community where everyone belongs. Through our unique spiritual teachings, we provide a safe environment to experience compassionate living. And our declaration of principles are: I believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. There is one life of which I am a part, one intelligence which I use, and one substance which takes form as my life. And so it is.
Am I on? Hello? I can't hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I can hear me. Okay. I can hear. Oh, it's all good. Good morning, everybody. What a beautiful spring day. Technology is wonderful, isn't it, Reverend Sandra? Don't improve anything for us, please. We like it just the way it is. I've got a song for you this morning that really touched my heart. I heard someone sing it on The Voice, and I thought, I want to learn this song. There's a line in it where it says, and when I don't belong, you say I am yours. And that's my favorite line. So here we go. This is called You Say. I keep fighting voices in my mind that say I'm not enough. Every single lie that tells me I will never measure up. Am I more than just the sum of every high and every low? Remind me once again just who I am. I need to know. I can't hear again. I'm sorry. Marsha, what happened? Don't know?
I mean, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, everybody, do over. Technology day. Here we go. Okay. I keep fighting voices in my mind that say I'm not enough. Every single lie that tells me I will never measure up. Am I just the sum of every high and every low? Remind me once again just who I am, 'cause I need to know. Oh, you say I am loved, well I can't feel a thing. You say I am strong when I am feeling weak. And you say I am held when I'm falling short, and when I don't belong. You say I believe, oh, I believe what you say of me. I believe. The only thing that matters now is everything you think of me. In you I find my worth, in you I find my destiny. Oh, you say I am loved when I can't feel a thing, and you say I am strong when I'm feeling weak, and you say I am held when I'm falling down, and when I don't belong, you say I am yours, and I believe, oh, I believe what you say of me. I believe what you say of me. I'm taking all I have now, I'm laying it at God's feet. You have every failure, God. You'll have every victory. Yes, you'll have every failure, God. You'll have every victory. Oh, you say I'm loved when I can't feel a thing, and you say I'm strong when I'm feeling weak, and you say I am held when I'm falling down, and when I don't belong, oh, you say I am yours, and I believe what you say of me, what you say of me, and I believe, oh, I believe what you say of me. And when I don't belong, you say, oh, you say, I am yours. And when I don't belong, I hear you say, I hear you say, I am yours.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. All right. See, it all works out in the end. Great song. Yeah. Love it. Beautiful. Lily is our reader this morning. She has a nice little story for us. Unmute, Lily.
Okay,
Yeah, there you go.
okay, all right. Good morning, everyone. The reading today is taken from Callings by Greg Lavoie. Elsa Buckner, at the age of 22, heard the call of adventure and made a vow. Every 5 years, she would stop whatever she was doing and do something different. For more than 50 years, she had done just that. She has worked in accounting, magazine production, advertising, sales, business consulting, and the jewelry business, to name a few. She has even written musicals. At age 55, she traveled across Europe with a knapsack on her back, and she got married at 70 for the first time. At the start of each venture, she marked her calendar for 5 years hence, and true to her word, moved on, though she says it is she is making an exception for her marriage. It is easy to succumb to tradition and security, she says. In fact, I do get terribly attached to things and am quite sentimental. So all the leavings have been painful, but it's part of adventure, and there's so much I wanted to do in life. Security is certainly wonderful to have, but not at the price of inertia. I'll have plenty of that in the grave. Elsa believes that if you love something, you must let it evolve. To obey means to hear. So if you are obedient to your own heart, the leaps you take in allowing your life to unfold are not so much risks as responses. It is challenging, Elsa says, to decide what responses you are willing to make to your life and how much risk you are willing to raise to assure that your life turns out the way you want it to. You don't want bumper stickers on your car that says, I'd rather be sailing, or the worst day fishing is better than the best day working. Elsa believes in preemptive change. You strike first before it strikes you. She has also allowed herself to be moved to adventure by her convictions, and Warner Brothers once offered to buy the movie rights to one of those adventures. She had been living in New York City running a jewelry business when one day a friend called from Arizona and told her about an Indian tribe that owned a troubled gemstone mine. Unscrupulous buyers were paying them a fraction of what their stones were worth. And could Elsa help? Elsa said, I thought it odd the chance that's thrown that opportunity at me because I was interested in gems, had a marketing background, hated an injustice, and felt an affinity with the Indians because her father had grown up on a Chippewa reservation in Minnesota. And she said, it felt like fair. So I said, yes. That yes led to her setting aside her business in New York, spending her own savings and borrowed money, and going to live in a trailer on the edge of an Indian reservation in Arizona, where she would help the San Carlos Apaches set up a development plan for their mines. The tribe's medicine man, who had invited her, had also admitted to mistrusting white people. So when Elsa arrived in Arizona, she says, the medicine man tested me many times to gauge my level of commitment. For instance, he kept me waiting for 3 days before meeting me, but I just waited and used the time to learn more about the project. There was no backing down. You play the game to the ultimate. You risk doing the great thing. Elsa's great thing turned out to be great for the San Carlos Apaches too. With Elsa's help and commitment, they were finally able to set up a successful gemstone business. Perhaps risk boils down to a simple equation, Elsa says. Is the payoff worth the pain? When the payoff is worth the pain, you keep taking the pain. When it's not, you stop. Or to borrow a bit of cowboy wisdom, when your horse dies, you get off. And so it is.
I love that. When the horse dies, get off. Great.
Yeah,
Thank you
that's,
so much, Lauren. That's great.
that's funny.
What a life. Can you imagine having a life like that?
Yeah.
It was nice for her to, decide. I'm sure her husband, was happy to have her stay after 5 years. That's good. Well, in that same book, today's talk is on Bless-itation. And this month we're talking about stepping into the unknown. And in that same book, it's by Greg Lavoie, and he tells the story of a man by the name of Howard Ikemoto. And Howard had a 7-year-old daughter who asked him at one point, what do you do at work? And so he told her that he worked at a college and that his job was to teach people how to draw. And she looked at him and she stared at him, and she was like, well, she was absolutely incredulous. And she says, well, you mean they forget? So we forget how to draw, don't we? We forget how to live. Really, I mean, stop and think about all the things that you forgot last, I think it was last Sunday, and they sang Melissa Felipe's song on remembering who you are. We forget who we are. And Greg Lavoie says there's many forces in the world that they actually conspire. Okay, conspire. You know what that's like? They all get together, gang up on us. Okay, and they conspire for us to be working against ourselves, and so we forget, and we lose ourselves, and we succumb to the beliefs that we can't do the things that we want to do. We succumb to our belief and that what we hear ourselves saying, what in the story, being obedient to our own heart. We stop being obedient to our own heart, don't we? And we stop listening to the voices in our own head, because you stop and think when you were children and you thought about something and adults told you, oh no, that couldn't possibly be, right? And you started thinking, well, this is my voice. And so if they're telling me that I'm wrong, then it must be that I'm wrong. And not necessarily so, but it's our voice of intuition. And that voice of intuition gets drowned out with our parents, with our teachers and schools, which the schools tell you, okay, you have these standards to live up to, and you can't live up to them, because they keep raising the standards, right? They keep changing them, on you for one reason or another. Okay, we live in a patriarchal culture, and that culture has, Greg says, by brute force of reason, has forced us to abandon our instincts and our intuition. And then we come to science of mind. And some of us have a really hard time. We have a really, really hard time, because the appearances in our life are such that, we go like, well, I've been doing this all my life, and look, this is my results. And, because what happens is our thinking and our beliefs create the experiences that we have in our life. And so our experiences mirror back to us that, oh yeah, this is true. It's not true, but it's mirroring it back. And so we believe that it's true. And so Wallace Waddle says, one of the hardest things to do in life, get this now, one of the hardest things to do in life is to look at the appearances and know the truth. Think about that. To look at the appearances and know the truth. So in other words, if you're sick, if you have some illness going on, okay, that's an appearance. And so then the truth is what? The truth is health. The truth is health. So if you want to be healthy, what do you have to do? You have to see yourself, know yourself, believe yourself, accept that intuitive thought in you that says, I am healthy. And yet at the same time, you may still have to go to the doctor. You still may have to take some medicine. You may have to have some surgery, but you don't have to succumb to the belief that I am diseased or I am not healthy. You can look at that situation, you can move through it, and at the same time go, I am healthy. That's the truth. The truth is abundance. The truth is prosperity. The truth is wealth and well-being. And yet at the same time, we find ourselves all too often looking at the appearances that say, no, this is not the truth. This is not what's happening. We've had parents and family members and all kinds of people in our lives that constantly tell us that what we're seeing is the truth, and what we are believing in our mind is not. What our intuition is telling us is not the truth. How many times have we found ourselves saying, I knew I should have listened to that. I knew it. How many times do we go, like, you get this direction to turn left, and you go like, but where I want to go is right. And so I've gone right all the time. So I'm just going to go right this way. And what happens? You get stuck in traffic, and then you're going like, I wonder what would have happened if I'd gone left. Okay. I mean, but that's how life is, right? We're constantly doing these kinds of things. Disobeying is what it amounts to. So I want to tell you a story about Jonah. You've probably heard of Jonah. You know Jonah and the whale from the Bible. Okay, so Jonah was a prophet. He was a prophet. You know what prophets are? They are the messengers of God to the people, okay? And now keep in mind that this is a story, but it's Jonah's vision, okay? Because we all know the story that Jonah got eaten by the whale, but he didn't really get eaten by a whale. Okay, so that's why it's a vision. But at the same time, we can take the story and we can make it our own, and it becomes an allegory, something that we can see in our own lives, right? Okay, so Jonah goes on this adventure. Joseph Campbell calls these adventures the hero's adventure. So he goes on this adventure, and the Lord has called him to go to Nineveh. And the Lord wants him to deliver a message to the people of Nineveh. Now, keep in mind, this is the Lord that is sending him. Okay, so the Lord is sending him to Nineveh, and he wants him to deliver this message. But Jonah doesn't like these people. He says they're wicked and they're evil, and no, he doesn't want to give them the message because he does not want them to be saved. Okay, so he's like, I'm not going to Nineveh. All right, so he gets on. He gets on a boat, and he goes in the opposite direction. And while he's on that journey in the wrong direction, the Lord sends a storm, and the sailors on the boat are scared to death. So they're like, because they don't realize Jonah's the problem yet, and so they're throwing everything overboard, trying to lighten the load and trying to deal with the storm the way they normally would, right? But it doesn't work. So finally, Jonah is down in the below deck somewhere, sleeping. He's sleeping, okay? And the captain comes and he says, Jonah, wake up. How can you sleep through all of this? So he wakes him up, and he gets him up top, and Jonah sees where the storm is happening, and so he says to the people, oh, well, this is probably my fault, because he knows, right? He's supposed to be going in the opposite direction. So anyway, so he said, this is probably my fault. Just throw me overboard. And then they were like, no, we can't throw you overboard. That, they're thinking, they'll kill him if they throw him overboard. So they're not, and he doesn't have the courage to just jump, right? So finally, the storm gets worse, and finally they go like, well, he said to throw him overboard, so let's do that. So they throw him overboard into the water, okay? And what happens just as they throw him over, what comes along but a good big old size whale that swallows him up into his belly, right? So what happens when you go in the belly? You get digested, right? So let's back up a little bit. First of all, Jonah's going in the wrong direction. So therefore, he has all these obstacles he has to deal with, okay? And because he has all these obstacles, which, stop and think when you decide you're going to go someplace. When you get that intuitive thought, and the intuitive thought says, go here, and you go like, no, the world is doing these things, and I think I should go there. So what happens? You start getting obstacles in your way because you are resisting being and going where you're supposed to be and do, okay? So he's got all these obstacles. What does he do? He goes to sleep. What is that? That's called unconscious. It's like, stop and think when you go to bed at night, you go unconscious, right? And so what happens when you're going, you're supposed to be going someplace and you're resisting it, you are going unconscious. You are going unconscious to the truth of who you are. You're not listening to your intuition. That's going, whenever you're not listening to your intuitive self, when you're not being obedient to your own heart, you are doing what? You are resisting. You are resisting, and you're going against yourself, and you're going unconscious. You're going unaware. Okay. All right. So Jonah's down there, but there's some part of Jonah, like all of us, that is awake. We don't sleep all the time. And so that part of us that wakes us up is the captain in the story. Okay. So now the captain has woken up. Jonah's in the belly of the whale. Now he's there for 3 days and 3 nights. What happens in the belly? In our own belly, digestion, decomposition, right? So what's happening is Jonah's, he's breaking down all his resistance that he's going through, okay? And so after 3 days, the Lord spits him out onto the dry land, and and the Lord says, I want you to go to Nineveh and deliver my message. And guess what Jonah says? Okay, I give up. Don't we do that? Okay, it's like, I have banged my head against this wall until I am bloody, and I guess it's time to turn around and do what I know to do. Right? And so that's what he starts to do. He goes like, all right, I'll go to Nineveh. He goes to Nineveh and he delivers the message. But he's still mad. Why? Because, see, who goes to Nineveh after he gets what happens once he gets to Nineveh and delivers the message? God shows up. I want you to notice there's a difference. The Lord says this is the message, but God is the one that shows up in Nineveh. What's the difference? Lord equals law. The law is the creative medium. Ernest Holmes said is love and law. So the law has given the message. The law is what is the creative medium that provides action in the world. Okay. So here you have the law that is saying, this is the action I want you to take. And then you have God that shows up, because Jonah is who? The messenger from God. Okay. So here is through the people in those times, the people are hearing through the prophet, through God's prophet, God saying, you need to straighten up, get your act together. You need to get all this evil stuff out. You need to be following me, doing what I told you to do. And what do? They do exactly what they're supposed to do. They get back on right track, and everything is well and good. And what does Jonah do? Now, is Jonah happy? Nope, Jonah is not happy. Jonah is not happy. And he says, oh Lord, this is not what I said when I was still at home. Is this not what I said? Oh Lord, law, okay. Is this not what I said when I was still at home before the journey? That is why I was so quick to flee to Tarshish, which is where he was going in resistance. I knew you are a gracious and compassionate God, slow to anger and abounding in love, a God who relents from sending calamity. Think about that. The law will tell us the right way to go, but it's God's love that abounds. It's God's love that is slow to anger and who relents from sending us calamity. So good things happen when we do what? When we are obedient to the Spirit within. When we are obedient to that place, our own intuition. When we are obedient to our own heart. That's where the Spirit is. That's the Spirit speaking to us, guiding us, directing us. Our intuition is how we connect with the Spirit of life, with the I am that I am. Our intuition is the way we connect with that. The confirmation is how we feel in our heart. Do you see? And when we go with it, we are blessed. But there's always that hesitation, right? Because the truth is hard to do when you have the appearances of the world going on. Sometimes when we're doing a blessing, we have to go against the people that we love. Sometimes, you know, Achika's gone all the way to Afghanistan. We would have loved to have kept her right here. But her heart and her truth and her guidance led her to Afghanistan. So if she doesn't go, guess what? She's in resistance, right? So many of our people are in our world right now in resistance. I had somebody tell me they didn't want to take the vaccine because they just weren't sure what they were going to be getting in that vaccine. The numbers, and it wasn't somebody you would think, you know, would have this problem. I looked at the person and was like, I'm not expecting, you're not one of the people I would expect to have that attitude. But you know, the thing is that there are people who are resisting. They have all kinds of worldly reasons. Not one said, none of the people who I have heard, whether I've talked to them personally, I've heard them on TV or wherever they have come from, whatever little message they've sent here or there, none of it has said, my heart is telling me don't do this. They've all got these external appearance level reasons why they shouldn't take the vaccine. Watch yourself when you have reasons why, you know, we all get those urges, you know, go here, do this, do that. We get those intuitive urges, right? Watch yourself when your reason for not doing it, when you're being Jonah, and you're not doing it because of conditions in the world. Jonah didn't want to go to Nineveh because why? He didn't like the people. That was a worldly condition. It was a condition in the world. He wasn't going like, oh, you know, well, God is the most loving God. And so God wants me to go, you know, the Lord wants me to go so I can deliver God's message, okay? And let the people know that they are loved and cared for and they can change their ways. No, he wasn't doing that. He was doing what we do. He was going like, no, those people, I don't want to be involved with those people. Don't you know they're on the wrong track? I don't want to be around them. And then God loves them anyway, and he's still mad. He's still mad. I didn't tell that part of the story. He's still mad that God saved him. You know, it's like, I knew that you were going to forgive them. That's why I didn't want to go. Okay. Isn't that what happens? People do bad things in our life and we go like, I don't want to forgive you. Get out of my face. I don't want you around me. I don't want to be around you. You've done these bad things and I'm not going to forgive you. I don't care if God loves you. Right? Isn't that what we do? Okay. We are all on this journey. We are all on this journey to be all that we can possibly be, to be the most loving person that we possibly be. Ernest Holmes says, we do well to listen to this inner voice, for it tells us of a life wonderful in scope, of a love beyond our fondest dreams, of a freedom which the soul craves. Can you imagine having that kind of life? Can you imagine living all the time in that peace that knows no bounds, in the freedom to make the choices and live the life that you choose to live? That's blessed. That's grace. That's joy. That's happiness. But it's so hard to live. You know, Joseph Campbell, years ago, wrote, he did a PBS special with Bill Moyers called The Power of Myth. That was some I mean, it was some series. Anyway, every once in a while I pull out that book and remember, and it so fits with the story of Jonah, because he's telling about the hero's adventure. And Joseph Campbell, he's saying that all of us as human beings are going through the hero's journey of one sort or another, the hero's adventure, that all of us in our lives, we're doing that. And these myths give us clues as to how to, which Jonah would be classified as a myth or a vision, although Jonah apparently was a real prophet, okay, in Israel. Anyway, he says, furthermore, we have not even to risk adventure alone, for the heroes of all time have gone before us. We're in the 21st century, and there's heroes that have spread for centuries before us. He says that the labyrinth is thoroughly known, that the way is known. They know the way through the maze, right? We have only to follow the thread of the hero path, and where we had thought to find an abomination, we shall find a God, small g God. We will find a God. And where we thought to slay another, we shall slay ourselves. We will be Jonah in the belly of the whale, and we will fight with ourselves. Where we had thought to travel outward, we will come to the center of our own existence. So we think that we're out traveling in the world, but in actuality, we're in the belly of the whale dealing with our own self. And he goes on to say, and where we had thought to be alone, we will be with all the world. Isn't that's almost as powerful as Ernest Holmes' statement, that we're not here alone, that we are not here alone. I mean, you stop and just think about this last, the 21st century is, we've had one thing after another saying, you're one, we are one, we are all together. Stop and think about, we can talk to anybody in the world, obviously. We can see anybody anywhere in the world, obviously. We have that evidence right here today, okay? We can get on a plane and in a matter of hours and perhaps a day, we can go all around the whole world, okay? And yet, you know what? It took months, years in the past, okay? So we are more connected as people than ever before. And then we were like, no, we're not really that connected. So then we got the internet, right? And we can talk to anybody anywhere, phones, emails, whatever. We have all these connections technologically, okay? Even if they break down sometimes, we still have them. They eventually get it together, okay? All right, and they lift us up, okay? We're all traveling this path together. And then what happens? We get this disease that touches everybody. If you didn't get it yourself, you know somebody who did. And I mean, I'm not talking about somebody who died necessarily. They didn't necessarily, they just had it. I know people who had it. They survived. Okay? But what is that saying? That it didn't matter what color they were, what economic background they were, what social, they didn't matter if they were the highest of the highest. The president of the United States got it, okay? The poorest of the poor got it, all right? Everybody is susceptible, right? I mean, so here we have this, it's not just our country, it's the whole world. What is it saying? It's like God going like, bam, 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 bam. I told you guys you were one. Why don't you listen to me? How do I show you? I show you through the appearance of a disease. Because you won't listen through the intuition that I have given and graced you all with. Think about it. You have the choice of the truth or the choice of the appearance. It's your choice. You can go with the Lord or you can go with the Spirit. God that loves you, cares for you. Ernest Holmes says it is love and law. They work together. They work together to give us the most wonderful life that we could possibly imagine. It's our truth. So where you thought this was an outer journey, it's actually an inner journey. And where you thought you were alone, you will find the whole world is with you. We have to start with somewhere. We have to be conscious, each one of us. If we fall asleep, there's storms, right? There's storms. Storms to wake us up. Wake up. The captain comes and grabs you, right? Let's remember Ernest Holmes saying, we do well to listen to this inner voice, for it tells us of a life wonderful in scope, of a love beyond our fondest dreams, of a freedom which the soul craves. So we are blessed, and we can choose not to hesitate. We can choose to move into that blessed space and experience the blessing of who we are. Let's turn within. I am so grateful. I am so thoroughly grateful. I am so grateful that there is a oneness, there is a truth, a capital G truth, a oneness, a capital O oneness, and a realization that the truth is oneness, that the truth is that we are one, that we may be many bodies and expressions and many livelihoods, and we are particularized in particular ways and particular places, that we live in different homes and we live in different cities and we have different lives and we enjoy different exciting things and we enjoy whatever it is we enjoy. It is not the same. And even with all those differences, even with all that individualization, we are one in the spirit. The spirit connects us. One to us is the life-giving essence of who and what we are. It is the energy that never, ever fails us. It is that life that every single morning we wake up and breathes into us. And throughout every single day, we breathe that breath of life. And that life, that breath connects us one to the other. And so today we recognize and realize and know that we have a choice. We have a choice. We can stay asleep and ignore our intuition. We can ignore the spirit of life within us, and we can deal with the storms of life. Or we can choose to be like the people of Nineveh and allow ourselves to begin to listen to our inner voice, to begin to listen to the voice of God speaking in us and through us and as us, guiding and directing us, leading us to that life that our soul is craving for, and being obedient to the heart, to our heart, because each one of us is not being asked to conform to the world. We are being asked to conform to the spirit that lives within us. We are being asked to conform to being fully and completely who and what we are in this moment, in this day, in this life, right here and right now. And so I am so thankful that we have the courage, we have the wisdom, we have the creativity, that we can live the life that is ours to live. We can live in truth. We can truly live in truth. And so we just need, and we are willing to take and make that choice to remember who we are, to remember that we are spirit expressing itself in a human form, and that the fullness, the completeness, the totality of who we are is always, always, always available to us. We are never deserted. The spirit is always there. It is there as law, or is there as God. And so we open our hearts right here and right now to be fully and completely present, to be conscious, to be aware, to know that the life-giving essence flowing in us and through us and as us buoys us up with the courage that we need to live the life that is ours to live. And so I know this is our truth. I know it, that each and every one of us gets to experience it individually, and we accept it as the truth of who and what we are. And in that, we are blessed. And with gratitude and thanks, so much thanksgiving, and with so much awareness that this truth is flowing in our lives, opening them up in ways that we can't in this moment imagine. But it is doing so because the Spirit of life, God, goes before us to make plain the path that we are to walk. And so it is. Amen. Cynthia, a song.
I have a song for you. I think it's perfect. You just said the Spirit is always with us and we are never alone. And this is a song I wrote called I Will Do For You. It is your Creator talking to you, telling you the things that you think you're afraid of and you can't do. Your Creator, your God, whatever you refer to Him as, is right there and going to do it with you and help you. I lay my worries down in your place of peace and beauty. I feel your presence all around, and I hear your voice say clearly, I will do for you what you can't do for yourself. I'll walk beside you when pain is all that's left. I'll do for you what you can't do for yourself. When I'm lost and all alone, help me to remember your wisdom is my truth. I have only to surrender. You said I'll do for you what you can't do by yourself. I'll walk beside you when faith is all that's left. I'll do for you what you can't do for yourself. And deep inside your heart, you'll feel a stirring to do the next right thing. If you're self-centeredness and pride. These aren't hopeless conditions. You said I'll do for you what you can't do by yourself. I'll walk right beside you when pain is all that's left. I'll do for you what you can't do for yourself. So I lay my worries down. I lay my worries down, and you do the same. Let's just lay our worries down. Lay our worries down. Thank you.
Yes, unburden yourself.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, Marcia.
Okay, beautiful. This is just a wonderful Sunday. Yes. It is our time to focus in on how we can support our center with our conscious giving. So as I always mention, there are 3 ways that you can give. If you are a person who likes to do things electronically, we do have PayPal, and the link is in the chat window. It's also in the newsletter. And just a reminder, if you do use PayPal, you can always ask PayPal to help you out and do it an automatic donation. If you are a person that would rather mail a check, the mailing address is on the window. It is in the chat window, and it is also in our newsletter. And by the way, if you are not signed up for our newsletter, or if you know someone that might appreciate being, signing up for the newsletter, that's also in the chat description of how to just go ahead and sign up for a newsletter. And Amazon Smile, as always, if you're a shopper at Amazon, they have a charitable donation program, and you can connect your purchases with our center. And then Amazon is triggered to look at what you've spent with Amazon, and they send a portion to us. So at this moment, let's all come together and speak our giving affirmation. I am grateful for the divine givingness circulating abundantly through my life, my community, and my world. And so it is.
Thank you, Marcia. Okay, Cynthia, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to tell everybody, we've got this new version of Zoom that kind of gave us a problem, but down at the bottom, it's got reactions, and you can put a heart right up there to let Reverend Sandra know how much you loved her talk.
Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you. That's great. And you can also put other stuff up there too.
You can put a thumbs down, but don't do that.
I prefer the hearts. Okay, that's great. Thank you for letting everybody know. And let's see. I don't know what happened with my computer, with what I was going on, but we will be working on that. And we have class this afternoon. I usually do it on this computer anyway. So those of you in the foundation class, continue to log on as usual. And we have board meeting. We're supposed to have it on the second Sunday, but when I scheduled the foundation class, I did not notice that I was scheduling it for the second Sunday in April too. So we are having board meeting on Tuesday night. And if you would like to go to, to get the link for the board meeting, just put it in the chat, and because we let everybody come to the board meeting that wants to. And so just put it in the chat and we'll send you the link to go to the board meeting. Um, we are still looking for a location, as you know, and we haven't, I guess you know it because we haven't announced anything. So anyway, so this week in your newsletter, I put the the list of affirmations for us to use. So please open your newsletter if you, the one you use to get on here, open that and read through the affirmations. And it'd be nice if you could do that every day, affirming what it is that we want to do and participate in. Okay. And as you get ideas about how you want, the kind of church you want us to be, the community you want, the place you want us to be in, just chat it to us in the thing on Sunday, or send it to us in an email through our CSL website, which the CSL email is on your newsletter too. And I don't know, did I mention last week that we don't have a location? But on the constant contact, they require us to have a physical location. So we have our old location there, but we're not there. So anyway, just wanted to keep mentioning that. Any other announcements for today? Well, okay, Lily.
Yes.
Yeah. Reader. Lily is taking over as being in charge of our readers now. She has taken that over from Sandy. So she's put her email and her phone number in the chat. If you would like to volunteer to read some Sunday, Chris, you can read again. Gloria, we'd love to have you read. Mike, I know you do our introduction every week, but you certainly are welcome to do some reading. Kenneth, you too, you and Gloria can take some turns. Ronnie, Kathy, Deborah, you can all help with the reading. Marty, you too. Anybody who can read can do the reading. Okay. All right. So just get in touch with Lily and let her know that you would be happy to help with that. Okay. I left off some people because they're board members. But Connie, I didn't mean to leave you off. Okay, all right. So that is our service for today. We have class starting in 15 minutes or so. So we are going to close. We have a video for you though. Marsha's going to play. It's a long 7-minute video, but we're only going to play like 3 minutes of it. Okay, Marsha.
This is my worship, this is my offering. In every moment, I withhold nothing. I'm learning to trust you, even when I can't see it. And even in suffering, I have to believe it. If you say it's wrong, then I'll say no. If you say release, I'm letting go. If you're in it with me, I'll begin. And when you say to jump, I'm diving in. If you say be still, then I will wait. If you say to trust, I will obey. I'm done chasing feelings. Spirit, lead me. Oh, Spirit, lead me. It felt like a burden, but once I could grasp it, worth it all. My life is an altar. Let your fire fall. If you say it's wrong, then I'll say no. If you say release, I'm letting go. If you're in it with me, I'll begin. And when you say to jump, I'm diving in. If you say be still, then I will wait. If you say to trust, I will obey. Teach me how to follow in your way. I'm done chasing feelings. Spirit, lead me. Oh, yeah. Holy Spirit. Yeah, just sing it out.
Spirit, lead me. Yes, let it go. All right. Thank you so very much for being here. And our closing affirmation. We go forth today knowing that we are God's blessing in the world. Only good goes from us and only good comes to us. And so it is. Go forth and be the blessing that you are to everyone. See y'all. See you board members. See you class later and the board members on Tuesday. Okay.